The Young and the Restless spoilers. Kane's fortune the result of a secret marriage. Call us suspicious, but we never bought the story The Young and the Restless, Kane Billy Flynn was selling in regards to how he earned his fortune in 6 years. He claimed that before Colin Tristan Rogers passed away, the two fixed their broken relationship and worked together to amass an empire on the back of their Bitcoin investments. However, given Colin and Kane's knack for lying and running schemes, we doubt the validity of this convenient explanatio. Fast forward to The Young and the Restless episode airing on July 23. As Nick Joshua Morrow and Sharon Case remain under house arrest, held hostage in Kane's storage room, they start looking through a trunk. They find some old books and eventually spot an old family photo, but not of Kane and his brood. Nick surmises the photo looks as if it were taken in the early 1900s, and he spots Kane's chateau in the pic. This leads Nick and Sharon to guess that the images of the family that used to own the property. Thumbing through more images, Nick and Sharon find one picture that has De Leon Family, 1924, written on the back of it. The exes wonder if Kane's estate was once the famous Chanté de Leon winery, a company that stopped producing wine years ago. Despite the fact they haven't seen any vines or grapes on the property, they ultimately assume that it is, and perhaps Kane placed the maize over the vineyard. Although, they can't figure out why Kane would go through the trouble of doing that. Nick and Sharon end the episode finding a bottle of champagne and trying to pick the lock to the storage room so they can escape. We think their discoveries will ultimately prove fruitful in trying to get to the truth of how Kane became so powerful and what his true intentions are. With all that being said, we now have a theory that Kane became a billionaire after becoming a widower. During his time away from Genoa City, he secretly got married to a descendant of the De Leon family. However, the marriage didn't last long as his mystery wife died and left her family's wealth and property to Kane. If this hunch is correct, we can't say whether he married for love or a con, but either way, we wouldn't be surprised. Taking this hypothetical further, let's say there are other living members of the De Leon family who aren't happy that Kane inherited their family legacy. Could these individuals be the ones that Kane believes are trying to kill him? Kane has been rather insistent that someone wants him dead, even assuming that Jermaine Rivers was murdered by mistake and that he was the real target. It's worth noting, Damien and Kane were poisoned by drinking the bottle of toxic liquor, and as a family uniquely knowledgeable of wine and the bottling process, it's not hard to picture members of the De Leon family using poison in a beverage to harm their prey. Again, Kane being a widower and inheriting an ill-gotten estate is just a theory. However, it's one we'll be watching closely to see if it proves true.